what's happening around the world and what's happening here at home. A very good evening to you and welcome to Weekend Primetime News. I'm Sandro Ferdinando. Let's take a look at your headlines for tonight.
News First Headlines. Main sponsor.
Durden's Hospital, dedicated to you.
Ordinary level examination to begin tomorrow. Examination rules tightened. Over 1,000 police officers for additional security.
ප්‍රවේශ පත්‍රය නිසි පරිදි සම්පූර්ණ කරගෙන යන්නට ඕනේ. අස්සන සහතික නොකරන ලද ප්‍රවේශ පත්‍රයක් වළංගු ප්‍රවේශ පත්‍රයක් වෙන්නේ නැහැ.
Lumpy disease spread among cattle. Transport of cattle from the northwestern province suspended. Natasha Edirisuriya, who was arrested for a controversial statement, still under interrogation. Dallas reveals details about parliamentarian Ali Sabri Rahim, who smuggled 3.5 kilograms of gold into Sri Lanka. India gets a new parliament. Prime Minister Modi says this is the beginning of a new era. India has done more for Sri Lanka than the IMF. A statement from the Indian Minister of External Affairs. Scout swims to Sri Lanka from India.
News First Headlines. Main sponsor.
Durden's Hospital, dedicated to you.
First up in news here at home, the 2022 Ordinary Level Examination will begin tomorrow. The Commissioner General of Examinations, Amit Jasundara, said that all arrangements for conducting the exam are complete.
472,553 candidates will be sitting for the 2022 GCE Ordinary Level Examination. 394,450 of them are school candidates, while 78,103 are private applicants. The examination will be conducted at 3,568 examination centres across the country, and 40,000 officials will be assigned to invigilate the exams. The 2022 GCE Ordinary Level exam is scheduled to conclude on the 8th of July.
What documents can be used as a valid identity card at the exam?
There are two documents that you must have with you when you enter the examination hall. You have to have your admission card. You have to take with you a completed admission card. The signature must be certified. Admission forms where the signature has not been certified will not be considered as a valid admission card. The documents that we accept as a valid identity card are the National Identification Card or NIC, a valid passport or a valid driver's license. Those are the only three documents that are accepted as a valid identification card.
What are items that candidates cannot take into the examination hall?
Mobile phones, mobile phone accessories and other communication devices are prohibited. Calculators are not allowed for any exam at the GCE Ordinary Level Exam 2022. Correction fluid cannot be used as well. The violation of any of these rules could result in a 5-year suspension to anyone found guilty.
What are the special examination centres that have been set up for candidates?
2 special examination centres have been set up for children with special needs in Ratmalana and Tangol. The Commissioner General of Examinations also said that an examination centre has been set up for prison inmates. An inmate at the Balikada prison who is serving a life sentence is also due to sit for the exam this year.
What are the arrangements in place for a candidate who suffers serious medical complications during the examination period?
We have looked into the steps that can be taken if we are informed by the health sector that a candidate has contracted a disease like dengue or any other illness. Usually, if the health sector informs us of such a situation, we usually let the candidate sit for the exam at the closest examination centre. But if the health officials recommend against moving the candidate out of the hospital, we have made arrangements for candidates to be allowed to sit for their exams at the hospital itself.
Is there a special program in place for Posun Poya Day?
Although exams will not be held on those 2 days, there could be traffic congestions on the 2nd Friday and 5th Monday, especially in Anuradhapura and Mihintale. We have discussed the situation with officials from the North Central Province and the Police Department. We have requested for steps to be taken to prevent any of the candidates being delayed for the exams due to traffic. I request the students to also be mindful of this situation and prepare to face it accordingly.
The Commissioner General said that steps have been taken to conduct the exams in the event of adverse weather. He requested candidates to contact the hotline 117 and inform the authorities if they are facing any such disaster.
How will transport facilities operate?
The Sri Lanka Transport Board has decided to continue to operate the Sisusariya bus service for the candidates. Private bus owners also said they will continue to operate. The Railways Department said that trains operating during the week will continue to operate at the same times during the weekend.
Is there a special security arrangement during the exams?
1,707 police officers have been deployed to provide security during the exam period. The general public living in close proximity to examination centres are requested to prevent using loudspeakers or any other devices that would disturb the ordinary level exams. If we receive information of such disturbances, we will take steps to stop it.
Natasha Adrisuriya, who allegedly made defamatory comments regarding Buddhism, was arrested by the Criminal Investigation Department this morning. She was arrested based on a complaint made by the IGP, the Commissioner General of Buddhist Affairs.
The police had informed the Bandar Naik International Airport to detain Natasha Adrisuriya if she attempted to fly overseas. She was arrested to record a statement regarding the comments she made in public. Natasha Adrisuriya had arrived at the BIA to travel to Singapore. She was arrested by officers from the Cybercrimes Division of the CID.
We had
received about 8 complaints regarding the statement made by this woman. It was the Cybercrimes Division that launched the investigation. This statement was made in Colombo in the month of April. Making statements like this could lead to disharmony between communities and could lead to conflicts. That is the reason why she was arrested.
MP Dalla Salaha Peruma says MP Ali Sabri Rahim, who was recently caught smuggling 3.5 kilograms of gold and 91 mobile phones into Sri Lanka, has left the country and travelled overseas.
This individual has travelled overseas through the VIP lounge at least twice every month. For the month of May alone, he had travelled overseas on 5 occasions. He came back in a hurry on the day of the vote in Parliament. I believe that is why he was caught, because he came in such a hurry. But now he is using his vote against the government. He's saying that he spoke to this leader and that leader, and because they didn't listen to him, he is voting against the government. This is a very nice script. The awards for Best Actor, Best Screenplay and Best Director should be given to them. Believe me when I say, this same parliamentarian travelled overseas on the very next day through the VIP lounge. At this moment in time, he is overseas after having travelled through the VIP lounge. What a shame is this? Who does he think his constituents are? What is the government thinking? What a shame is this?
Retired Rear Admiral parliamentarian Sarath Weerasekara says that MP Ali Sabri Rahim, who was found guilty of smuggling gold into the country, must resign from his parliamentary seat.
Ali Sabri
Rahim had paid the 7.5 million on the spot and he was released. I believe that the Inland Revenue Department and the State Intelligence Service are investigating as to how he paid such a large sum of money immediately. The issue here deals with self-respect and the respect for Parliament. This parliamentarian who committed this crime and was apprehended by law enforcement officials should protect the dignity of Parliament and resign. That is what the people expect. It is only if something like this happens that even the other parliamentarians learn a lesson.
The first request to take action against parliamentarian Ali Sabri Rahim was handed over to the Speaker by a group of parliamentarians on the 25th of this month. The letter to the Speaker states that the parliamentarian has violated the Code of Conduct for Members of Parliament. Working Committee on Parliamentary Affairs has drawn attention to presenting the proposal to Parliament, requesting parliamentarian Ali Sabri Rahim to resign from his position.
The need for practical enforcement of the Anti-Corruption Act was discussed at a multi-stakeholder discussion organized by the Transparency International Sri Lanka. The discussion was held at the parliamentary complex.
The purpose of the discussion was to explain the basic structure of the bill, inform of improvements that should be made and obtain support for the act to be passed in Parliament at the appropriate time. As the anti-corruption bill is being considered in the Supreme Court, the discussion was held with due consideration and respect to the legal proceedings. The MPs who participated in the discussion agreed that the proposed bill has many progressive provisions, but said it is a challenge to assure that the anti-corruption mechanism proposed in the bill is able to break the existing corrupt system.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi today inaugurated India's new parliament building amid protests and boycotts.
The new parliamentary complex, spanning across 64,500 square meters, was built as the 96-year-old parliamentary complex in India does not meet the requirements of this day and age. The complex was built at a cost of $120 million. The new building houses a chamber for the Lok Sabha with 888 seats and a chamber for the Rajya Sabha with up to 384 seats. The Sengol, an ornamental staff handed down during the reign of the Chola dynasty as an emblem of transfer of power, was placed in the new parliamentary complex. To mark the inauguration of the new parliament building, Prime Minister Narendra Modi released a commemorative coin of 75 rupee denomination.
The new parliament isn't just a building. It is the symbol of the aspiration of the 1.4 billion people of India. It gives a message to the world about India's determination. I congratulate all the citizens of the country. I believe that the public representatives who sit in this chamber will try to create new paths for democracy. The new parliament will be the base of creating a new India. This Sengol symbolizes the path of responsibility and patriotism of the Chola Empire.
External Affairs Minister of India, Dr. S. Jaishankar, has said that India has done more for Sri Lanka than the International Monetary Fund.
The perception today, the linkages and the perception today of India in the neighborhood has changed, and nothing illustrated that more dramatically than what happened to Sri Lanka last year when they went through a very deep economic crisis. And we have actually stepped forward, in a way in which we ourselves have never done before. But what we have done for Sri Lanka is bigger than what the IMF has done for Sri Lanka. So what we are also trying to do today is actually a bigger India, a more influential India, a more ambitious India. We are trying to expand what should be our. So we look at what are, in a way, extended neighborhoods. I mean, these could be the islands in the Indian Ocean, the Gulf. If you look at a relationship like UAE, Saudi Arabia, these relationships have really undergone an enormous transformation in the last decade. Each direction, from what was a traditionally much more constricted view of our neighborhood, we've actually undertaken something much more ambitious.
External Affairs Minister of India, Dr. S. Jaishankar, made these comments at an event titled Modi's India, a Rising Power at the Anand National University in Gujarat, India.
The Sri Lankan Scouts swam to Sri Lanka all the way from Dhanushkodi. He achieved this marvelous feat in his endeavour to raise awareness about pollution in the sea of Sri Lanka.
Devendran Madhushikan is a student from St. Michael's College in Batiklo. He took a boat ride from Rameswaram to Dhanushkodi and began swimming to Sri Lanka at about 2:05 a.m. Madhushikan reached Talemana in Sri Lanka at about 2:48 p.m. after a grueling 12 hours and 43 minutes. He had been granted clearance from the Ministry of Defence to cross the Pork Strait.
More news coming your way after this commercial break. Stay tuned.
News First. Main sponsor.
When a heart attack strikes, every minute makes the difference between life and death. With the right care and treatment at the hand of the most skilled surgeons and medical professionals. With the perfect environment for recovery. Darden's Heart Center, dedicated to you.
ඉන්ෂුරන්ස් කොහෙද තියෙන්නේ? සුපර්මාකට් එකෙන් වගේ තෝරලා බේරලා ගැලපෙන මේ ඉන්ෂුරන්ස් එක අරගන්න නම් මේ තියෙන ඉන්ෂුරන්ස් සුපර්මාකට් එක. ඉන්ෂුරන්ස් එක ගන්නවා නම් ඉන්ෂුරමි එක්ක කතා කරන්න. ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ ඉන්ෂුරන්ස් සුපර්මාකට් එක insurme.lk.
Welcome back. How will the political environment in Sri Lanka change in the future? How do the major political parties in the country see this? Several political parties expressed their views at various locations today.
The Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna Balamandala meeting for the Horopatana seat was held today. A group including former Minister Johnston Fernando attended the meeting.
They said Gota go home and Naki Maina go home. They didn't say anything to Ranil. When Ranil Wickremesinghe spoke up for the Aragale in Parliament, no one told him to refrain from doing so as he has been removed. We didn't assault during our time. But now, no sooner you come out, they attack. We didn't attack anyone with dirty water, but now they are saying that attacks are being done with dirty water. Our supporters had to bathe in the Bere Lake because we were forced into it, but now they are also being attacked with water from the Bere Lake. Both of them are the same. As a state minister, I would like to inform the government that SM Chandrasena is heartbroken. Johnston Fernando is heartbroken. We would like to inform the president that you cannot continue with this government while leaving out these people who worked hard to secure a 2/3 majority in parliament. I must say that if this is how they are treated, neither I nor even my dog wants this state minister portfolio. We are ready to move forward as a team. These ministerial portfolios are not of much of value to us. It's only the vehicle and some diesel, isn't it? If the people who like to work for the people, the public representatives who are with the people are sitting at the back in the government that we created, I stress that we have to think twice about this situation. Although President Ranil Wickremesinghe became the president, we are the ones who gave that support. 134 of us from the port tour gave him that support. We had faith in him when we did that. The tree that provided shade to Lord Buddha was shown gratitude for 7 days. It is the members of the port tour that is given the president the power to run the country. If any concessions are being given, those too come through us. Since Gotabaya Rajapaksa didn't do it, we are getting it done through Ranil Wickremesinghe. The government is port tour and the Prime Minister is port tour.
SLPP MP Namal Rajapaksa said fixing a collapsed society is more difficult than returning a collapsed economy to normalcy. He expressed these views at the Balamandala meeting in the Balapiti electorate today.
They used weapons to invade a country in the past. Now Western countries invade a country by attacking their culture. Today various tactics are being implemented within the Aragale grounds to destroy the country's culture. Sometimes we took it as a joke and applauded from the sidelines. A child worshipping their parents has become a joke. Ask the government. If a program is not implemented to uplift this collapsed society, oppression will not bring about a sustainable solution to this issue.
The Samagi Jana Balavegya said people should be given the opportunity to express their views.
Ranil Wickremesinghe is travelling across the world and advising world leaders. But members of his government are engaged in large-scale theft. The president can use his power to dissolve this warped parliament and give the people the right to vote to elect a new government. He urged Wickremesinghe not to be a prisoner of the SLTP. Don't be a leader that protects the Rajapaksas. We only have 1 year to do anything. The presidential election should be declared by May next year. There are talks that it will be held in March. If that is the case, the election should be announced by the end of this year. We only have 1 year. Although the government speaks of a presidential election, I am certain there will be room to conduct the local government elections by August or September.
The United National Party's Uvaparanagama seat, Balamandala meeting was held today and it was chaired by Deputy Leader of the party, Ruwan Wijewardena.
There are attempts to create religious disharmony, despite who says what the United National Party cannot be erased from the history of the country. The United National Party is a party that is bonded with the people. Economic prosperity was brought to Sri Lanka by the UNP. We will have to face the presidential election in the next year and you all need to support President Ranil Wickremesinghe. He needs to have the mandate for the next 5 years to uplift this country. The UNP is there to support him and in the near future, ahead of the general election, many other parties will also join hands. However, the UNP will have to lead that alliance. After becoming the president, in around 2 months, he was able to save the country from bankruptcy. The exchange rate of the dollar has dropped, and that is because of the steps he took towards the betterment of the economy.
Chief Incumbent Venerable Valava Hangunu Vava Dhammaratana Thera says that he will not accept the 3 million rupees that was given for the parade of the State Poson Festival.
The minister said yesterday that there is no way to give money for this event, but despite what he said, Poson cannot be postponed. You also cannot stop crowds of people from coming. He is now saying the money should have been managed better last year, but for several years, including last year, not too many people came. I don't have to speak about management because you managed everything pretty well. All I have to say is that the government has given 3 million. I will be returning this 3 million back, and I will not use them for the Perahara, but I will find money from generous donors and I will host the Perahara. I would like to inform the media that there is no State Poson Festival, but the Poson event will take place. I invite the Venerable Mahasangha and multi-religious clergy. Please help us. You too will be treated the same way. We will do this somehow and hold the offering of light. Also, I will return the 3 million that was given and you can manage your affairs. The collection of funds for the State Poson Festival celebrated around the historic Mihintale Raja Mahavihara began from the boatry in Matara today.
Founder and chairman of the Dhammika and Priscilla Pereira Foundation, Dhammika Pereira declared open the DP Education, AI Coding and Robotics campus this morning at the Kurunegala Sangaraja Pirivena premises.
Under this project, Sri Lankans will have the opportunity to learn AI coding and robotics. Founder and chairman of the Dhammika and Priscilla Pereira Foundation, Dhammika Pereira, chief incumbent of the Kurunegala Sangaraja Pirivena, Shrastrapati Rajakiya Pandita, Venerable Valaswave Somananda Thero, and several others were present for the opening. The founder and chairman of the Dhammika and Priscilla Pereira Foundation also declared open a computer laboratory under the DP Education, AI Coding and Robotics Campus project.
Recently I went to watch The Voice Sri Lanka done by Sirasa. When I was sitting in the front row, my first thoughts were about the cost for the show. The cost was around 250 million rupees. I looked at how many people were there. There were around 2,000 to 2,500 people, and they would have had to charge at least 100,000 rupees for a ticket to cover the cost. But no one saw this. When I was there, I noticed the costumes and colors. There were many more people behind the show. No one understands the value of this. We must create children who understand the value. 250 million rupees was spent to create Ramya. Because of his good intentions, it seemed as if he was projecting neurons. Everyone was happy when he came on stage. Our brains were mirrored according to the way he thinks. When something happens to me, I look at why it happened. With the way he thinks, he is sending out neurons and our brain captures it and we feel happy. How many people out there hold pens and papers to write songs for Ramya? In his language, will 10 of us come forward? No, they don't think of asking Ramya to express their ideas. They want money to write songs. How beautiful is it if they get Ramya to express their thoughts and play their music? If a country is to develop, people need to have that mindset. I am trying to bring up children who think like that. I am doing this program to create children who think like me.
News first with the people.
Minister of Power and Energy, Kanchana Wijesekara, says that the allocated weekly fuel quotas for vehicles will be increased from Tuesday midnight. Registered taxi three-wheelers will receive 22 litres per week, while other three-wheelers and motorbikes will receive 14 litres per week. Cars will receive a quota of 40 litres and lorries will receive 124 litres per week. Transportation of cows within the northwestern province has been halted owing to the lumpy skin disease, which is on the spread. Northwest Provincial Director of the Animal Production and Health Department, BCS Pereira, says the disease has spread across 39 MOH divisions, out of which 46 MOH divisions in the northwestern province.
The lumpy skin disease was spotted in the Trincomalee, Batticaloa and Ampara districts in the eastern province in 2022. On the 6th of March 2023, this disease spread to the Kilinochchi district and was spotted from Punagari, Iyakkachi, Palay and Uruttirapuram areas as well. On the 2nd of May 2023, this disease was spotted from Alayapattua, Maningamua, Andaraveva and Kuda Ahatuveva areas in the Anuradhapura district. Yesterday, News First reported that the disease was spotted in the Kurunegala district. The lumpy skin disease, which was first spotted in the north and eastern provinces, has now spread across the north central and northwestern provinces.
It didn't eat for 2 days. It was sick. I am afraid something will happen to it. Small lumps started developing. The veterinarian came and inspected it. An injection costs around 1,500 to 2,000 rupees. We don't have that kind of money. I applied turmeric water, but that was no use. We need some sort of relief from the government. Our cattle is in a tough situation. My request is that aid be given to us to take care of our cattle.
The lumpy skin disease can be spotted in the Pundanar, Punaini Ravi and Murasumote areas in the Kilinochchi district in the northern province. According to our correspondent, close to 50 cows have contracted this disease. Farmers say that cows that contracted the disease in Periyakulam have now recovered. Upon inquiry made by News First from the Agriculture Minister Mahinda Amadavira, he said a special team has been deployed to study the situation. The dairy farmers are facing the consequences of the lumpy skin disease against a backdrop where a multitude of issues, including exorbitant prices of food, food shortages, issues in the dairy pasteurization process owing to the fuel and electricity crises, and problems with cooling milk prevailing in the industry. The Progress Review Meeting report issued by the Ministry of Agriculture on the 30th of May 2022 details these issues. According to the report by the Ministry of Agriculture, the production of liquid milk in 2022 has decreased by 19.8% compared to 2021. However, agriculture officials have not been able to provide solutions to these issues. Do you remember? Dairy farmers fell from the frying pan to the stove due to the ignorant decisions of the previous administration. Do you remember the deal to import dairy heifers? Strong allegations were leveled against Mahinda Rajapaksa and the Good Governance administration on programs to import the dairy heifers. Many dairy heifers that were imported during the Mahinda Rajapaksa administration died after being handed over to farmers, and the remaining dairy heifers did not produce sufficient milk. Despite the failure of the project, the Good Governance regime continued the project even during their administration. Accordingly, 5,000 dairy heifers were imported from 2017 to 2018. Farmers who received dairy heifers under this program are now in debt. Those farmers have hit rock bottom after pawning their properties to banks. What will happen to the farmers and the animals who suffer this situation? Agriculture officials, for your attention.
While dairy farmers are facing many challenges to make ends meet, paddy farmers are suffering due to two main issues. First is the fertilizer crisis. Secondly, it is the fact that their produce is not fetching a fair price on the market.
When the harvest was being reaped, they said that paddy will be purchased at 100 rupees per kilo. The Minister of Agriculture went around the country and said that they will be purchasing paddy at 100 rupees through mill owners. They only gave money to few of his friends who are mill owners and purchased the paddy for a few farmers known to them. The paddy of innocent farmers was not purchased in this district. At a time when the government assured that paddy will be purchased for 100 rupees, the price of paddy on the market has dropped to 70 rupees. There is no one to purchase our paddy. Traders are saying that they will not purchase paddy. Formulate a program immediately and purchase the paddy of these innocent farmers. The price of paddy has dropped to 70 rupees. Not a single mill owner is purchasing paddy from us. We request the Minister of Agriculture, we are farmers from your electorate. How can we continue to work during this yellow season? How do we pay the daily wages of our employees? How do we purchase fertilizer? Can we cultivate these fields after selling paddy for 70 rupees?
Rural folk in Sri Lanka who suffered serious losses brought about by the destruction of their farmlands, collapse of their businesses and many other reasons don't always have the luxury to seek money for their urgent financial needs from a recognized financial institution. Experts believe that there are several reasons for this. These people have fallen from the frying pan to the stove as they are now unable to pay back massive interest rates and the principals for loans obtained from microfinancing institutions. These matters were discussed at the third conference of the National Campaign of Victims of Microfinancing Loans.
Our brothers and sisters who have not been able to pay back their loans can be found everywhere in the country. These companies that have been established across the country are sucking the life out of the people and are increasing their income in the process. But these government and leaders only work according to the whims and fancies of the owners of these companies. People who took microfinancing loans are committing suicide as they cannot pay those loans back. Approximately 215 people have paid with their lives already. But our leaders still act as if they cannot see what is happening. That is because their pockets are lined by the owners of these companies. As the working people of Sri Lanka, as the people who are suffering, I must say that if we identify and use the power that we have to unite and stand up, these companies will have nowhere to run. Are we going to continue to wait for these leaders who for 75 years stacked more and more debt on our shoulders? That is the issue before us. Therefore, as the National Campaign of Victims of Microfinancing Loans, we say that we cannot pay and we will not pay, and we will not abandon the struggle until our loans are slashed.
We Sri Lankans are facing many challenges at present. Despite our situation, we as Sri Lankans can come out of this situation stronger than before and be an example to the world. We can conquer these adversities. Sri Lanka is a nation that has overcome countless obstacles throughout history. Let's work together to build a better country for your future, my future, and the future of generations to come.
Gammada, for the people, by the people,
A vintage car rally was held in Colombo today.
Volkswagen, Triumph, Mercedes-Benz, Rolls-Royce, Mini Cooper and Peugeot were among more than 25 cars present at the car drive. organised by the Classic Car Club in Colombo. The Vintage Car Rally, organised by the Classic Car Club, took place for the first time in Colombo. The cars were driven a certain distance around Colombo to showcase many vintage cars of the Sri Lankan vintage car community. The main goal behind the rally was to bring out all the highly maintained vintage cars and to encourage the Sri Lankan car community to bring out their hidden gems to show the rich history and the heritage of cars in Sri Lanka. The rally ended with a joyful celebration and a brunch.
The annual district conference of Toastmasters in Sri Lanka and Maldives, Ovation 2023, concluded today.
Ovation 2023 was held at the BMICH main hall for the third and final day today. District officer installation of the Toastmasters District 82 took place during the event. Toastmasters from across the island and from various other countries participated in the event today.
President Joe Biden and his Republican opponents have announced they have agreed in principle to raise the U.S. debt ceiling and avert a default.
U.S. President Joe Biden described the agreement as a compromise, while House Speaker Kevin McCarthy said it was worthy of the American people. The deal, after weeks of bitter negotiations, still needs to be approved by a divided Congress. The Treasury has warned the U.S. will run out of money on the 5th of June without a deal. The U.S. must borrow money to fund the government because it spends more than it raises in taxes. Republicans have been seeking spending cuts in areas such as education and other social programs in exchange for raising the $31.4 trillion US debt limit.
Turks have finished voting in a historic presidential runoff to decide whether or not Recep Tayyip Erdogan should stay in power after 20 years.
His challenger, Kemal Kılıçdaroğlu, backed by a broad opposition alliance, called on voters to come out and get rid of an authoritarian regime. The president, who is favourite to win, promises a new era uniting the country around the Turkish century. But the more pressing issue is rampant inflation and a cost of living crisis.
The finals of the 2023 edition of the Indian Premier League played between the four-time champions Chennai Super Kings and the defending champions Gujarat Titans has been delayed due to bad weather. The tournament, which began late in March, had 10 teams playing 70 matches before the playoffs. The final can start at 9:35 p.m. local time without any reduction in overs, and the cutoff time for a 5-over shootout is 12:06 a.m. If the rain does not allow any play tonight, the final will be played tomorrow. Red Bull's Max Verstappen survived a mid-race downpour to win the Monaco Grand Prix from Aston Martin's Fernando Alonso.
Verstappen appeared to be cruising at the front, but his race was given added jeopardy by his team delaying his pit stop in an attempt to coincide it with the rain. And Aston Martin appeared to miss a chance to beat Verstappen by pitting Alonso for a set of dry tyres as the rain was intensifying. Had Alonso been given treaded tyres, his stop, while Verstappen was still on untreaded slicks, could have led to the Spaniard taking the lead. But Alonso had to stop again for intermediate tyres on the following lap, when Verstappen did the same and his victory chances were gone. Verstappen's win, his fourth in 6 races this year, moves him 39 points clear of teammate Sergio Perez in the championship.
An event to felicitate the Sri Lankan competitors at the first Silambam World Championship 2023 of the World Union Silambam Federation held in India. Silambam is an Indian martial arts originating in Tamil Nadu.
19 Sri Lankans competed at the first Silambam World Championship 2023 of the World Union Silambam Federation held at the Bangalore University in India. An event to felicitate the Sri Lankan competitors, who won a total of 69 medals, including 9 gold medals at the competition, was held in Kottagala on Saturday. A total of 161 contestants from India, Sri Lanka, Singapore, Switzerland, Belgium and Italy participated in the competition. The Silambam competition took place under two categories, Sports Silambam and Traditional Silambam. India won first place in the competition while Sri Lanka and Switzerland emerged first runners-up and second runners-up respectively.
And with that, wrap up news for tonight. Thank you very much for joining us. Do take care and good night.